Welcome in, everybody, to a special edition of the PJ Fleck Show, coming to you from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. I'm Pierre Noujaim, joined by the head coach of Gopher-football, Coach PJ Fleck. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm doing elite. Great to see you.
I would say long time no see, but we bumped into each other last night at St. Elmo's. We had a good steak last night, didn't we?
It's tremendous. The best. Absolute best.
The best steak. One of the best steaks I think I've had in quite some time, no doubt about it. Coach, let's jump right into it. It's a brand new season that's upcoming here for you and the staff and the crew. Last year, I recall you talking about the group that you coached being a fun group to coach. What type of identity is starting to form with this year's team, and what has you looking forward to coaching this year's group?
Well, this team loves football. And I think with all the changes in college football right now, I think loving football and playing football, that's what's getting lost. This team loves to be together. They gel really well together, and I can't wait to coach them.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And when you look at this year's team, especially you got some new faces in here, especially with Max Brosmer and our quarterback. We'll talk with Max a little bit later in the show. But when you look at some of the new faces, how are they adapting to your style, your scheme, your message? How are some of the new faces clicking on this team?
Well, I think the guys that we brought in have to be immediate impact players, right? So I think there's a difference between bringing guys in, knowing you can develop them over time, or they can compete for jobs. Like this, the thing with Max was we knew Max had to come in and start and play. That takes a special individual to do that, because I think everybody says they want to play and they want to be the starter, but do they really want to when the lights come on? And Max does. And I think that's what was really special about recruiting him. We had to find somebody that could handle that, right? Because that's a tough role to handle.
Sure.
He has the maturity. He's incredibly curious. And when you have somebody leading your football team that's constantly curious, that's a good thing.
Staying on the quarterback theme, I know there a lot have been said about the passing game and trying to jumpstart this passing game. With the fans at home that are watching want to know how we jumpstart this passing game, what would you tell them at what they can expect perhaps from the passing attack this year?
Well, yeah, I think every year presents its own challenges, and then every year has its own football team. What you're really good at offensively, what you're really good at defensively, what are you good at special teams wise, and everything affects everything.
Sure.
I mean, people talk about jumpstarting the pass game. 2019, we had two first-team All-Big Ten wide receivers.
You did.
If you go back to Western Michigan, we had one of the most prolific passing attacks later in our tenure there. We're going to do what it takes to win football games with that particular team. Now, that particular team changes by the week, and it shows you what it can do and what it can't do, what it's capable of doing and what it's not capable of doing. And then you as a coach have to adapt that, and you can't keep taking the square peg and jamming it into the round hole. Now, I didn't do a very good job last year. I feel like last year as we continued to go through, I never felt like I had a grip of that particular team on the field that particular week, because it changed constantly, right? Injuries, new guys, and you never felt like, okay, I could rely on this. When we're good, we know who to rely on, when we can rely on them, through the air or the ground. And we will get that piece going. That's why we brought Max in here. And, we got a lot of work to do to get to where we want to go, though.
On the other side of the field, you have a new defensive coordinator in Corey Heatherman. How has he been doing? How do you think that defense is starting to come together? I know run defense was a little bit of an issue for you guys last year as well, but how do you see this defense forming under Coach Heatherman?
Well, the first thing that we always talk about is stopping the run, period, no matter what year it is. I think we've done a really good job over the course of the last 4 or 5 years in stopping the run first. When we don't stop the run, though, we don't have a lot of success. And multitude of reasons that go into that. We had a lot of players on defense playing way faster than probably they should have been playing. But now those guys who played and that investment was made are back again. I mean, we have 16 of 17 eligible returning starters on this football team. And a lot of them are on the defensive side of the ball. And then we get a lot of guys back from injury. So Coach Heatherman walked into a situation where I think he had instant accountability and believability. And because when you look at how we hired him, we came from the same type of system that we've had for a long period of time. And he is all ball all the time. He is a very serious guy and has had a lot of success at Maine and JMU, and excited about him leading our defense.
Going back to last year, just real quick, with how things played out and how things finished out, when you look back at last season, how much did it hurt, in terms of how the season finished? How difficult was it kind of to get through the season last year? And what do you learn from that season to kind of take into this season?
Well, players matter.
Yeah.
You always know that,
no
right?
doubt.
But I was really proud of how our team finished at the end of the year. We go 5-7. We're not going to a bowl game. But we talk about a life program. and a life culture. Well, because of that, we're the only team that's really eligible with one open bowl spot. And then we go to a bowl and win our 5th straight bowl out of 7 years. And one of those years was a COVID year, which, we didn't even, we didn't even go to a bowl game, right? And so you're talking about 5 out of 6 years, winning all 5 of those bowl games. I mean, that's huge for the next step of what we want to be able to continue to take. From day one, we said we wanted to have cultural sustainability here. Well, this is year 8.
Yeah.
And you look at Mark Coyle and I, that we're the longest tenured AD head coach combination in the Big Ten. That just shows like how fluid our profession truly is. After 7 years, now going on 8, we've been together the longest. So we got a lot of work to do. It's going to be a really exciting year, and I love this team.
To piggyback off of that a little bit, I feel like for at least 2 years running now, whether it's on this show or whether in your post-game press conferences, you have stressed about the new world of NIL and what it really takes to try to compete now in a conference like the Big Ten. How do you feel like you and Mark Coyle and how this whole thing is coming together in the world of NIL? How do you feel like it's been coming together in terms of keeping guys here, trying to attract other people? And what's it like for a coach trying to add another piece of responsibility to an already big plate for yourself?
Yeah, there's no GM department, like there is in the NFL. But I think when you look at the whole thing is that fit matters. Fit matters more in building an elite team now than it has ever mattered.
Yeah.
We still get to select young people, and they get to select us.
Sure.
I think what you value is more important than ever. So we're still going out and getting players who value the life program. We just had our best recruiting class since we've been there. But that's not because we were the highest bidder. But it was because we found the right people who want to be developed. You can only go based on the proof that you have. 16 of 17 eligible starters, which you and I probably both know. If they'd stick their pinky toe right in the portal, they'd probably make more money. Mm-hmm. But we've been able to keep them with enough funds and what is required from them to say, hey, that's a fair deal. Plus, I have this elite culture and program where I can keep building as a man. And I think that's what everybody's looking for a secret sauce. There is no secret sauce, but that would be ours, is that we create this life value as well as let our players and have our players have exposure to NIL and all the great things that are changing for the student athletes.
Yeah, it's well stated. And on top of that, too, when you look at the competition, off the field when it comes to NIL, competition on the field in the Big Ten is going to take it up a notch a little bit here. We got 4 new incoming teams. Yep. The Gophers are going to be seeing 2 of those teams with USC and UCLA on the schedule this season. But, Coach, when you look at this newly formed Big Ten and no more divisions, it feels like the wild, wild west out here. I mean, what does it look like with this new look Big Ten that we're going to be seeing?
It's just really exciting. You're talking about 18 of the most premier brands in all of college football, all in one conference, coast to coast. 9 league games, which is challenging, and you never know where the wheel's going to stop, right? And who you're actually going to play, because there are no more divisions.
Yeah.
You have your protected rivalries, but other than that, it's a crapshoot. You don't know who you're going to get. But I think it's really exciting, especially when you start to look at the West Coast teams and the type of success they've had over, not only just the last decade, but you can go all the way back, some of the most traditional football programs in the country. And, I always told our fans, I'd take you to the Rose Bowl. We're going this year. Which is great. We're going.
UCLA on the schedule this year. That's certainly one we're looking forward to. USC is going to be coming. This is what we've been talking about. It's going to be weird to see Big Ten drenched across basketball courts and football fields out at USC and UCLA. But this is the new world of college football, I guess.
It's exciting. I mean, I think that change is inevitable and change is healthy.
Yeah.
So think about the excitement around this season. Not only in the Big Ten, but the SEC and new conferences and new people joining conferences. I'm excited to see it. I'm just excited to see how it all plays out, because every single fan base has an expectation, but there can only be one winner. And now you have 18 people in that league. So it's interesting because there's only so many people that can win 11 games.
Right.
12 games. There's only one or maybe 1 or 2 that can have that type of season. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out and how the fan bases react to all of them.
This is our 3rd year. We're coming up on our 3rd year doing the show here together. I know you don't care about this, but I'm going to ask you about it anyway.
Oh, great.
There's people out there that, I've seen you guys getting picked 12th. I've seen you guys get picked 15th in this conference. How much do you pay attention to that? How much do you care? How much do you feel like maybe you guys are being overlooked a little bit going into the season?
I'm going to ask you the question right back. How much do you think I care about that, Pierre?
0. That's like 0. I know you care 0 about it.
Here's how much I don't care about it. First of all, I respect it.
Yeah.
People have to do their job, and I see it. right? The
Sure.
way our season was last year, I can see that. But the internal message is the only thing that's going to matter for us. The last time we were picked 6th in the West out of 7, we went 11-2. Like,
right.
So that doesn't necessarily matter to us. I know we have a really good football team. I know what kind of character we have on this football team. I know how connected and gelled they are, and how much they love football. It's going to be a tight season where you're going to have to win a lot of one-possession games, but this is going to be the team to go through it with, that's for sure.
The standard is the standard, from what I understand.
Standard
right?
is the standard.
The standard is the standard. So much more to come.